Hey kids, it's Jurassic James. It's Jurassic Explains. We're looking at the Isla Sorna Expedition Pack Jeeper figure. So why am I showing you this? I used to do the vehicles from Jurassic World reviews, and I don't know if you guys like them or not. Let me know. I know you're here for the Dinosaur toys. I'm going to get back to that soon. That's why this is a video for the middle of the week. But I wanted to point out one important thing. This was originally priced at like $40, like $37.99, and I found it for $10.99 at Ross. So basically this figure came out about a year ago, and what I did was like a crocodile, I just waited. And I waited, and I waited for it to be reduced in Walmart or Target, actually Target, and they didn't, and I saw it at Ross, and I was like, oh, $11, I can do that. People ask me, how did you pay for all this stuff? One, lots of gifts from friends and family, but two, a paleontologist, like, we're not paid a lot, so the idea of being able to buy all these toys full price is not normally a thing. And so I like to point out that for this one, I wanted this figure, this vehicle, just to add to my collection, and basically I would just wait for like a year or so, and it was discounted, so that, you know, throwing it out there. Now, first of all, I want to point out with the vehicle, this is from Jurassic Park, or sorry, the Lost World Jurassic Park. The sequel in 1997. They did not make this figure. Like, for example, here's the Jeep from the movie, from the new Legacy version of the movie. I have the original Jeep behind me right there, but this one is basically, they didn't make this. So, in this form, they had a little, like, Hot Wheels version. So anyway, I'm going to show, the main thing I want to point out, though, is it comes with Compsognathus and Velociraptor. That's what I'm really here for. But I also want to show you the video about the toy and tell the story, not brag, but give you clues about things like what do you call it, Ross and Burlington, these discount stores. Anyway, let's open this package, and God save the audio. Let's see. Nope. There it is. Okay. Notice I go for the dinosaurs first. That was almost too easy. Should get the figure of the guy out, right? I know once I did a dinosaur toy review and I left the containment gear, and I was like, darn it. There we go. We have him and his device. And what do we? Okay, so I am in a way smart lazy, so I'm gonna just go ahead and take this and do that and just tear that up like this, opening it like that. The official scissors of Jurassic James have been called to order. We're going to cut right there. Lift this up. You're going to see there's like all this stuff there. So you take that and you turn it and you turn it. It comes loose. Let's put you over here and get these pieces here off. So the short thing to point out, you have the figure here, and there are, oh, that's really cool. Like this opens up like a normal car. You can see kind of on the inside, you have all, kind of like that. We have this over here, like that. And so the first thing that we're going to point out is we're going to free this raptor, a very common mold. There's a fly in the room, and I can't get rid of it because flies are annoying. You're like, for those of you who hate bats, appreciate bats. They eat flies and mosquitoes and things. And spiders, yes. Wow. These are not like heavy-duty scissors. They're clearly for bling and show off. You know, that's what the official scissors Jurassic James. It's all about the show. It's that Lady Gaga song, I live for the applause kind of thing. Let's see. Let's slide that into... there we go. We'll slide that here. Okay. And there's more parts. That's fun. So there's all these little plastic white bits right there with a cut off, and they're not exactly designed for a large, elegant, regal scissors from the Renaissance Festival. It does a thing. Okay, we saw that in the box. Slide this in here. There we go. Now we're getting somewhere. Okay, now 3 hours later. Let's see. I can dig a fossil out of the ground. It's difficult to open a kid's toy. for it. There we go. There we go. Right there. So, here's the Jeep. Now, the figure who comes with is Dieter Stark. He was the guy who famously was eaten by the Compsognathus. And unlike the original toy, he comes with the little taser that he had. Remember, he tastes a little. If you haven't seen this movie, it's 1997, so it was, it's almost an 18-year spoiler. And so he fits in there because humans, there they go in there. Look at that. Although he wasn't in this vehicle, he was actually in this vehicle, and iconically, if I remember correctly, you push the button on this one, and that goes out, and he shot the dinosaur with a gun. But that vehicle came with Roland Timbo, who was the main hunter of the movie. And I put the other guy, the hunter from The Lost World, Fallen Kingdom, in this side, the one who was eaten by the Indoraptor. Right. Speaking of raptor, let's see. Let's put this here for now. This is your generic Jurassic World raptor. I always say it's naked because it has no feathers, because raptors we know had feathers, Dromaeosaurus. And so the idea here is that, the basic, again, the hands are doing the Jurassic Park style hands, not the true raptor hands that are rotated like this. We're seeing basically, it's just like the 100, or not 100, but the almost 24 raptors I have over here from the Jurassic World line that came with different packaging. They're reusing this mold a lot. The DNA code is there, but this is orange. That's special. So, it's the DNA code is over here, and it's orange, and that's special. So, again, just for your perspective and a reference, a Velociraptor would not be I remember Dieter was like over 6 feet tall. I think he was pretty tall. And so this raptor would be 6 feet tall. Velociraptor would be about that tall compared to this. Deinonychus, even who the Jurassic Park raptors are based on, would be about that tall. And Utahraptor would be this tall and like way longer. So either way it goes, you're not like fitting into the major known raptors, Dromaeosaurus. And if you were to tase it, it would just murder you. But as far as the vehicle go, if you care about this, let's see, if the instructions were correct, you put this down and it raises up. So I remember in the scene when they were hunting the dinosaurs, that was a big part of it. And they showed that the people were standing in the back of this. This one, of course, has like three claw marks and one claw mark there. So they showed it as a thing for people standing in, but it seems to have probably been a dinosaur cage thing as well. Oh, look at that. So it goes up. This goes up, and there's little fake lights right there. So that's kind of neat. Anyway, they showed the vehicle. It's ironic because they're like really milking this franchise. They showed the vehicle for like, I want to say a minute. Not even that. I want to say a few seconds in that scene where it was, from your perspective, it was like they showed these guys driving and talking, and then it just like went over like that, and then they showed this vehicle in the background. And here we are, 18 years later, it's in front of you. Now, to make this worth your time, if that's even possible, I want to show you the Compsognathus, which are here. And so here are Compsognathus little guys, and look, the price tag's still there, $11 instead of spending $40. It's this thing called time now, and that's how they get you. The kids, you want it now, but the adults, people who buy these toys, are gonna you can just wait a year and then get it for a third the price, or more actually, the price. So what's special about these little guys is that in the movie, Compsognathus, and they're made in a way where they're all kind of like in mid-action, but they have their arms and legs in a way that's kind of wrapping around, like they're gripping something, right? And that was just because they want to have it where these guys are around the human and they're attaching him like this. Now, in the movie, if you haven't seen it, somehow, spoiler alert, but the idea is that he saw one of these guys earlier in the movie. He shocked this little nose, and they apparently had a grudge, which we do know there's a study, I think, on crows, remember correctly, that it had a grudge for crows can have grudges up to 17 years. And what the guy did was he put on a fake mask, and he went to a park, and he messed with crows. And then he just would go back all the time at a certain period of time and notice how the crows, when they would see him with a mask on, they would attack him. And after the 17-year mark, that's when they stop attacking him, which implies that the crows could hold a grudge. Anyway, not sure why I told you that, but here we are. And so, but the thing is, it's ingenious Hollywood-wise. Remember, Steven Spielberg is a horror movie maker. He makes Jaws, Jurassic Park, all these movies. but they're actually done in a horror movie style, right? Even though they're sci-fi and kind of fantasy adventure. And the way the Compsognathus, it's like when he falls down the hill, and then you hear this high-pitched flute noise, and you see one go this way, one go that way. And actually, they didn't even show their bodies. They show the camera from their angle running towards him. That's a really brilliant scene. And so the idea is that, and then all of a sudden he's laying there and the camera's panning above and they're all crawling up like ants, and that's something that no science has said they could do. But as far as movie magic, cool. It's really amazing, right? So just for perspective, I brought this Papo Compsognathus figure, which is based on appearance-wise the Jurassic World Compsognathus. Now, do you know these guys are found in late Jurassic Germany? And so Europe during the late Jurassic period, where it's a subcontinent now attached to Asia, it actually was a series of islands. Sea level was a little higher. And so Compsognathus is special because when I was a kid, the name Compsognathus, I haven't done a video on this animal yet, but the name means elegant or pretty jaw, because I think the first one ever found was the size of a chicken. So I remember as a kid hearing about a chicken-sized dinosaur. Later studies suggest that chicken-sized specimen was actually a juvenile, but either way it goes, they're small for a dinosaur. And so the idea is that if they're so small, they must work in groups and take down bigger prey. Most likely, it's not very likely that they did that given their environment conditions. These guys, to give you an idea what they're like, they're so similar to Archaeopteryx, the first bird like fossil, historically speaking, considered that when they were finding Archaeopteryx skeletons, they thought they were Compsognathus until they realized they had feathers, right? So they're very similar in appearance, skeletal-wise. But the main thing to point out here is that in their environment, because it's islands, we often get smaller animals on islands. And the idea is very simple. When you have less resources available, if you're a big, like for example, the woolly mammoth went extinct about 10,000 years ago, like in Russia. But there are other woolly mammoth relatives that were found 4,000 years ago on an island, because as the glaciers were melting, they were chasing the glaciers as they melted away, and over time. And this island, these pygmy mammoths were like that tall, versus a giant mammoth, right? A word that even means large. And so in Compsognathus, it being a smaller dinosaur on this island or this island region, that makes sense because they're adapting to their environment. They're eating bugs and they're eating lizards and things like that. They're not grouping, as far as we can see fossil-wise, they're not grouping together and taking down large prey, And so, I've heard people even argue that did Velociraptor really fight Protoceratops? We have the fighting dinosaurs in the New York Museum where Velociraptor and Protoceratops are like locked together. Well, the idea is that people who study Velociraptor more closely say that was probably either a really brave or a really stupid Velociraptor to go for something that big by itself, right? And so these guys grouping together, maybe if the animal was already dying, but he was pretty healthy when they attacked him. And anyway, I'm overthinking all this, but that's what you're seeing here. So you're seeing this setup, and the original figure was actually just him and a copy that had a magnet in his chest, and it would attach to his chest, and you would shake him, and it wouldn't come off, which is kind of cool. Again, for 90s technology. But that's what we're looking at here. So you have this, and so in general, no one will be driving this, but you're seeing this engine coming to the island to hunt the dinosaurs. This is a really cool scene. It's actually a very interesting scene because of the soundtrack. I love the soundtrack. And that's when we get reintroduced to Jurassic Park's Parasaurolophus and the Jurassic Park's Pachycephalosaurus. And that's when I, as a kid, was introduced to Mamenchisaurus for the first time. Because at that point, I had not, it was 97. I had not realized that was a thing. And so that scene where they're driving a motorcycle and it goes between the dinosaur's legs and there was two of them, I was like that. I remember seeing at the theater, like, that dinosaur is a sauropod, but it's not a brachiosaurus, it's not a diplodocus, it's not a, et cetera. And so I remember that was really exciting to see a new species, and it was a really big deal. And so this vehicle is a part of that story. I hope you appreciated seeing me open this. If you didn't, let me know. I assume most of you don't like these kind of videos. You're here for the science, which I did throw some in there, but next week we're going to do actual critters. So I'll see you guys in a little bit.